What is up, guys? My name is Matt, working for Cinematography Database, and today we're going to be looking at 3 different lighting techniques, and the best part about these techniques is that it just requires one light, one talent, and one wall. These are techniques that I learned on music videos where you're going to be doing a lot of performances of one person against one wall, and there's a couple different ways that are pretty cool that I picked up over the years, and I wanted to share those with you today using Cinedesigner. Number 1, the first technique I'm calling the Terry Richardson technique. He's the one that really made it popular. It had been done before, but he really made it his own and he used it quite a bit. And here's what the final look looks like. 3 words I would use to describe this look if I was talking to a director, a producer, client, agency, anyone that I needed to sell this look to. I would call it 1, sharp, and we'll talk about that in a minute. I would call it raw, and I would also call it high fashion in some cases. So the defining characteristic of this look is the sharp defined drop shadow behind the talent on the wall. You're going to achieve this by putting the talent right up against the wall. If they can almost touch it or be touching the wall, the better. If they get too far from the wall, the shadow won't hit the wall, and also the shadow will be very soft. So we want to put them right up against the wall. That's going to keep the shadow nice and sharp. Now, depending on how much space you have, you can use any light source. You could even use a 12 by 12 source. It would just need to be like really far away. But to make your life easier, what you're going to want to use is a hard light source or a small light source relative to the talent. So something like a spotlight's going to work pretty well, or you could even use a chimera or an area light as long as it was a little bit farther away. The smaller the light source relative to the talent, the sharper the shadow will be, and that's the whole idea of this look. Okay, so we have our talent right up against the wall. We've got a hard drop shadow. The next thing we want to look at is the height of the light relative to the talent. If you put the light about head level and you're shooting a medium shot, the shadow will actually go behind the talent, so you won't really even see it. But this is a look that you can go for. But what I really suggest doing is bringing the light higher and higher and looking how it affects the drop shadow, and especially look how it affects the shadow here and the shadow under the nose. Once you get the height that you like, you want to start to bring it from directly behind the camera to a little bit to the side, and you're going to get a drop shadow that looks something like this. This is what is very popular, and this is a great look, and you can use this against basically any surface. Different surfaces will reflect differently. A white wall has its own look, and this is a great look if you're going for a quick music video setup. This setup is obviously very simple, and your crew might be like, you just want me to point one light at her or him, that's it, that's all you want to do. But once you look at it on the monitor and the client sees it and the director sees it, no one has an issue after that point. And for this particular lighting setup, we wanted the camera to be shooting straight at the wall, so keeping it pretty perpendicular, keep it pretty Wes Anderson, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, so number 2, this is going to be a wider shot, and it's going to look really good for dancing or any sort of full body movement. I like this look a lot, and what we're basically going to do is silhouette the talent while creating a kind of cool gradient on the back wall, all with one light source. So to do this technique, what you want to do is you want to take your talent and the wall and give it about, like, I would say 8 to 10 feet. It really depends on the space. And then what you want to do is you want to put the light source in between the two and point it straight down. Now, depending on the type of light source, you're going to have to play with the distances, but the idea is to have the light source so that it's hitting the back wall and it's also hitting the back of the talent, but nothing hits the front of the talent. So again, we want to keep our camera perpendicular to the wall, and when we expose for the wall, depending on what color it is, if it's white, you want to kind of overexpose. If it's a texture, you want to expose for the wall. What you're going to get is a very bright wall, but a very dark person in front of it who has a little bit of backlight on them. This is going to look phenomenal for dancing. It's a very cool silhouette shot, slow motion, go crazy. This setup works really well. Okay, so number 3, I'm sad that this is already coming to an end. What we want to do here is take our wall, and we want to take the camera and basically put it almost parallel with the wall, almost like it's shooting like right straight down the wall. But we're going to pan over left just a little bit to catch it. And what we're going to do is we're going to put our talents back against the wall and have them lean right against it. So this is the framing. I think we've all seen this. It's basically a profile shot with the wall going off in perspective. And what we're going to do for the lighting in this is called far side keying. We're essentially just going to put the light about 10 feet away from the talent and point it right back at them. And what you're going to want to play with is the distance from the light to the wall. You could actually have the light basically in the shot and have the talent cover them. That's a certain look. Or you can come off the wall a little bit more. This is what I like, and really play with how much the light hits the wall and how much it hits the talent. So again, in this case, we're kind of playing with some silhouettes, but we clearly can see that we are edge lighting the talent. This is one of my favorite setups, and honestly, if you use setup 1, 2, and 3, you'd have a decent looking music video, and you could just change the walls up. I think that would look pretty good, especially on a low budget project. That is going to wrap it up for this episode. I really hope you enjoyed these 3 lighting techniques. I know that they're really simple, but honestly, they are extremely powerful. And if you wanted, I could go into depth with each one. There's a lot of different variations and other things that we didn't look at. I tried to give you a quick high-level look at these lighting concepts. If you like this video, give the video a like. It only takes a second. And subscribe to the channel. We have a lot more content just like this coming up. In the comments below, let me know if you've used any of these lighting setups or if you want me to go into more depth about one of the 3. I would be very happy to do that using Cine Designer, and very soon I'm going to be able to do these on set. I'm working with some studios, I've acquired some lights, I have some camera, I'm getting all this stuff together so that I can do actual live action cinematography tutorials. Those just require me to leave my attic and my house, so, you know, they cost money and they're a little bit more difficult to do. I will see you guys on the next episode. You get out there and plan better, shoot better.